Hello and good evening. You're watching Awani Tonight with me, Hafiz Marzuki. The government says JAKIM may advise Muslims on safeguarding their faith, but such advice does not equate to official policy. It said that all policies must also prioritize national unity and receive cabinet approval before implementation.
In a statement, Minister in charge of Religious Affairs, Datuk Dr. Muhammad Naim Mukhtar, and National Unity Minister, Datuk Aaron Ago Dagang, said the Cabinet had reviewed the recent proposed guidelines on Muslim participation in events at non-Muslim places of worship. The statement added that inclusive discussion that considers the sensitivities of all parties is crucial in fostering national unity. An Interfaith Harmony Committee is set to meet later this month, comprising 24 representatives from various faiths. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim stated that there is no need for rules on how Muslims should conduct themselves at non-Muslim ceremonies in houses of worship. He emphasised that Muslims in Malaysia have already understood and respected religious boundaries that has led to a peaceful coexistence which has long been the norm. He urged the public not to complicate the matter or create unnecessary concern, as the Cabinet has already decided on it.
The government has appointed 3 companies to carry out motor vehicle inspection services, ending Puspacom's long-standing monopoly. Transport Minister Anthony Loke says the move aims to enhance service quality and road safety in Malaysia.
The companies are Wawasan Bintang, Pakatan Petroleum and Beriman Gold. Loke said they were selected through a rigorous evaluation process, considering their financial strength, regulatory compliance and the suitability of proposed locations. Wawasan Bintang will operate in Port Klang, Gua Musang and Mersing, while Pakatan Petroleum will serve Rawang and Temerloh. Beriman Gold will manage inspection centres in Kuching and Sirian, Sarawak extending services to East Malaysia. Meanwhile, Puspacom, Malaysia's first and only national vehicle inspection company since 1994, will continue operating as usual, with all branches remaining open.
Heavy vehicles will be banned on selected highways within the Klang Valley during peak hours beginning February 19th. The ban, gazetted by the government on October 21st last year, is part of a Cabinet Committee initiative to ease traffic congestion in the city centre.
The affected highways are the North-South Expressway Plus, New Klang Valley Expressway and KVE, North-South Expressway Central Link Elite and Duta Ulu Kelang Expressway Duke. The restriction applies from Monday to Friday between 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. as well as 4:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m., excluding public holidays. It would involve Class 2 motor vehicles, those with 2 axles and 6 wheels, except buses, and Class 3 motor vehicles with 3 or more axles. However, the Malaysian Highway Authority said exemptions would be granted to heavy vehicles involved in cleaning, waste disposal and domestic waste collection, emergency and enforcement services, along with highway maintenance work.
In just the first 33 days of 2025, over 260 million ringgit has been lost to commercial crimes. Bukit Aman's Commercial Crime Investigation Department, or CCID, recorded 5,153 cases, marking a 26% increase from last year.
Despite the rise in cases, financial losses have decreased by 7% compared to the 279.8 million ringgit recorded during the same time in 2024. Online scams remain the biggest contributor, making up 88% of the cases with 195.3 million ringgit in losses. The most common type of scam continues to be telecommunications fraud, with nearly 2,000 cases reported, resulting in 49.6 million ringgit in losses. Police have conducted over 2,400 operations and made 2,523 arrests. So far, 26% of the cases have been prosecuted. CCID's Director, Datuk Seri Ramli Muhammad Yusof, emphasised the need for more public awareness to fight these scams.
Malaysia is taking allegations of being a transit point for smuggling NVIDIA AI chips to China seriously and is committed to complying with international export controls. Investment, Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Seri Tengku Zafrul Aziz says Malaysia won't allow its role as a semiconductor and logistics hub to be exploited for illegal activities. Speaking on Bernama TV, Zafrul says Malaysia strictly enforces export controls under the Strategic Trade Act, which governs the export, transit and transshipment of strategic goods, including semiconductors. And that existing policies align with regulations from the US, EU and UK. To tighter oversight, he says Malaysia is stepping up international cooperation to monitor the flow of sensitive technology, including NVIDIA AI chips like the H100 and A100 that are used in high-performance AI applications. The Public Accounts Committee, or PAC, will hold public hearings on rising health insurance and takaful premiums, as well as private hospital fees. This follows public concerns over the price surges and their impact on healthcare.
The first session will be held at AC Marriott Hotel, Bukit Jambul, Penang from 9 a.m. to noon on February 14th, while the second session is scheduled to take place at the Banquet Hall, main block of the Malaysian Parliament in the federal capital, from 9 a.m. to noon on February 21st. The PAC stressed that the public hearing will gather input from all parties, which will be included in its report before presenting to Parliament. Those who wish to attend the sessions are requested to fill in the Google form for registration, available on the Malaysian Parliament website.
We'll go for a short break. Stay with us.
Kerap menggaru kulit kepala disebabkan keluh mumur, masalahnya lebih mendalam. Gunalah Head & Shoulders menembusi 5 lapisan untuk membasmi keluh mumur dan kegatalan. Bebas keluh mumur sehingga 100%. Head & Shoulders diuji secara dermatologi.
Merentasi Laut Cina Selatan hingga ke puncak Kinabalu, kami bawakan laporan ringkas padat dan komprehensif. 5 minit Awani Sabah Plus setiap Khamis dan Jumaat 8.25 malam hanya di Astro Awani.
Penyasaran subsidi diesel di Semenanjung tidak akan memberi kesan kepada harga barangan keperluan di Sabah, Sarawak dan Labuan.
660 individu berusia bawah 21 tahun di Sarawak telah diberikan kewarganegaraan.
Sarawak kini menjalinkan kerjasama dengan Bank Dunia dalam menjayakan perdagangan karbonnya.
Daulat Tuanku.
Philippine Vice President Sara Duterte says her legal team is gearing up to fight the impeachment case against her as her feud with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. intensifies. Duterte, the daughter of former President Rodrigo Duterte, also stated she hasn't considered stepping down and is still weighing a potential run for president despite the impeachment attempt.
This marks her first public statement since being impeached by the House over charges including conspiracy to assassinate President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and misuse of public funds, allegations she has consistently denied. She could be removed from office and disqualified from future public office if 2/3 of the Senate votes to convict her. The latest developments have further deepened the rift between Marcos and Duterte, who had formed a political alliance to win the 2022 election. But their partnership has since crumbled over policy disagreements. Marcos, however, denied involvement in efforts to remove Duterte, saying it's up to the Senate to decide what happens next.
Two unions representing employees of the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, have filed a lawsuit against President Donald Trump and his administration, challenging his plans to drastically cut the agency's workforce. According to the US media reports, USAID staff were informed that global personnel would be reduced from around 10,000 to fewer than 300. The lawsuit argues that Trump lacks the authority to shut down USAID, calling the move unconstitutional and illegal. The Trump administration has said US aid is wasting money and needs to align with its policy priorities. The unions are calling for an immediate stop to the plan, the appointment of an independent director, and the reopening of US aid offices. They argue that the cuts have created a global humanitarian crisis, cost thousands of American jobs, and jeopardized US national security. US aid delivers billions of dollars in humanitarian aid overseas, funding that advocates say provides a critical lifeline to more than 100 countries at only a small fraction of the overall federal budget. This lawsuit comes as thousands of US aid employees brace for administrative leave starting Friday night. Now, separately, Donald Trump has signed an executive order sanctioning the International Criminal Court, or ICC, for what he says are baseless and illegitimate investigations targeting America and its close ally Israel. The order imposes financial and visa restrictions on individuals assisting ICC investigations into American citizens or allies. Neither the US nor Israel is a member of or recognizes the court, which has issued an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for alleged war crimes over his military actions in Gaza. A warrant was also issued for a Hamas commander. The Netherlands, which hosts the ICC, says it regrets Trump's order, calling the court's work essential for holding war criminals accountable. The US has long rejected ICC's jurisdiction. During his first term, Trump sanctioned ICC officials over war crimes investigations into US forces in Afghanistan, sanctions later lifted by Joe Biden. A river in the greater Buenos Aires, Argentina, turned an intense red, alarming residents who suspected toxic spills were to blame. Pictures and videos show the intensely colored water flowing into an estuary, the Rio de la Plata, which borders an ecological reserve. According to the local media, authorities have water samples from the river to determine the cause of the discoloration. Residents speculated that the red hue might be due to a contamination or chemical waste from a nearby depot. Initial reports suggested the substance may not be toxic. Can art inspire a greener future? On It's About Youth tonight, Ellen Chan, the grand winner of Faber-Castell Young Artist Award 2024, shares why her piece is important in sparking conversation about mental awareness among youth.
Well, I feel like I may not have the full power to control what's happening in the world, like how the pollution and everything that's happening. So I decided to make this piece in order to inspire others to help make this world a better place by being inspired to create inventions such as these.
Meanwhile, Managing Director of Faber-Castell Malaysia, Andrew Woon, speaks more about the role of corporate entities in investing more in environmental advocacy programs.
I hope that the government somehow kind of mandates maybe a percentage of funds that should be allocated to doing this. There's a lot more awareness right now because there's carbon tax coming. There's a lot of audits that looking internally into systems whether you are green and or not. So the funding can go various ways internally and also in terms of spreading the information around and also advocating and partnering with third-party NGOs who are like what Ellen says, you know, some of them that she's supporting in terms of to support them in their causes because that will actually propagate and get more people to be more aware.
Catch the full conversation on It's About Youth every Friday at 10:30 p.m. only on Astro Awani.
Now that wraps up Awani Tonight. Check out our web portal, keeping you informed on the critical events shaping our world, all in one place at international.astroawani.com. That's all for now. I'm Hafiz Marzuki. Thanks for watching and good night.